Hey everybody, how we doing today? What a pleasure to see you guys this early in the day. A little unusual for us, but welcome, Paranormal and Cryptids Rabbit Holes, presented by Bigfoot Outlaw. Welcome everybody in our audience joining us live tonight. I see we got Curtis with us tonight, Leonard's with us tonight, Nymeria. I know your real name. You can't hide from me. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. Judy, good to see you. A little twisted. Hey, glad you could join us tonight. Loves that it's at 6 o'clock her time. Absolutely. Welcome, guys. I am excited tonight. We have a great guest on. I've been trying to get him on probably about a year and a half now, and our schedules just haven't been able to do it. Our show's been too late for this gentleman. He's an early bird. But got things organized and got the go-ahead from Grizz to be able to do some shows at different times. So the first person I thought of was our guest. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's an author. He's been around. I'm just going to go ahead and bring him on so we can start talking. We didn't get a chance to talk backstage because I had us going live before he was able to join in. So I'm going to bring him on, my buddy Kenny Irish. Hey, Kenny, how you doing, bud?
Hey, good, man. How are you?
Doing all right. Can you hear me all right?
I can. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm using my phone. Usually I try to be on a laptop for podcasts, but it didn't really work out this time. So I'm on my phone, so it looks like I got giant hands.
Sure, no problem, man. The volume's a little low. So if you could just speak up, that'd be the only thing. Everything else is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And don't worry about it, man. I think the first almost year I was podcasting with my phone. So, I mean, it's fine. We don't stand on formality here. It works great, man. No problems.
Sure. Excellent. Well, I'm happy to finally be able to get on with you. And I know we've been talking about it a lot, and then finally being able to work it out and make it happen. So I appreciate you working with my my schedule.
Oh, absolutely, man. That was one of the things I wanted to do for the new year because I actually have a lot of guests that 10 o'clock time slot Eastern is just kind of late.
Yeah,
and I
sure.
get that, so we worked it out where on Thursdays we kind of have an open schedule on the YouTube channel. And so I'm able to change and kind of adjust more our timing for the guests. So I'm really excited about that. We'll be able to get more and more people on and have more guests on instead of them just listening to me talk all night long.
Awesome.
Because everybody gets bored with that.
Nobody gets bored with it. Come on now.
Little Twisted said the sound sounds good. Thank you. He said, Kenny, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
A friend of ours, Melissa and Kevin. You know Melissa and Kevin. Panay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hey, guys.
Yep.
She
was all excited when she heard you were coming on the show.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into it, Kenny. Let's talk about your background a little bit. As far as for me, you just kind of showed up on the scene one day. Like one day I'm cruising Facebook and all of a sudden I start hearing about this new punk cryptologist author guy, and all of a sudden here's Kenny all over the place, man. Tell us how you got into this and what kind of brought you into the field and writing these books.
Yeah, well, the thing is like I've been doing this kind of like for a long time, but I always kind of stayed in the shadows. So to kind of go way back to the beginning, like most young boys, I was really into monsters. Godzilla, King Kong, Frankenstein, the Incredible Hulk, especially the Incredible Hulk. I love the Hulk. And I just, it's just been a passion and something that has been inside me that I've loved, and I've never outgrew it. Well, all my friends outgrew it. I never did. And I always kind of held on to it. And so I've been just studying monsters and legends for years and years, and a lot of people think I'm younger than I really am. I'm actually going to be 51 this year. So I've been doing it for a while, but kind of in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a musician, not like I used to be. Like I don't play out at all anymore or anything. But the music biz is kind of a vampire, and it kind of drains your soul. And like with every subject, there's always all kinds of drama in it. And the one thing that I wanted to avoid with my first passion ever, when it came to monsters and legends, I wanted to avoid being in any spotlights, anything like that. But then I went ahead and did something stupid and wrote a book and wanted people to read it. So that's kind of how everything kind of came to be, and how one day I was just kind of there. A lot of people kind of misinterpreted where I came from, and was like, oh wait, like Bigfoot and monsters are popular now. Oh, look at all the people coming out of the woodwork. I had always been there. I just, again, was just in the shadows. I just wanted to enjoy the subject. And like, for instance, like Ken Gerhard, I've been following him for like years and years.
Right.
But I never contacted him until I'd say maybe 2020, 2019, 2020, maybe right around there. Again, I was just kind of trying to stay out of any type of spotlight. I didn't want to get pulled into any drama, because it just seemed like every subject has some sort of drama in it. But
Sure.
So I wrote a book, wanted people to read it. So I popped my ugly mug out, and people liked what I wrote and liked what I had to say, and here we are.
Now that would be your first book right here, right? American Cryptids. That was the first one that came out, if I'm correct.
Yeah. See, I also write young readers chapter books. So the first one that there you go. Like so that was one of them, and then there's that one right there was the first one. Stanley Riker and the Bigfoot.
Okay.
That's the first one that came out. And that's the one that was, I guess, I don't know, I have a lot of fun writing the young readers chapter books, but my first one to really come out and make a major impact was American Cryptids.
That was the first time I heard of you as well. Jennifer McDaniels from Harlan. Hey, Jen. You remember Jennifer, Kenny, my fiance?
Yes, I do.
She wanted to say hi.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Jen.
She's liking this earlier time too.
Yeah,
so.
Good.
Now,
but yeah, that was the first one that came out. I guess.
Okay.
If I guess it put it in terms that put me on the map, I guess. So again, I'm not that guy. I'm not like that type of guy that's like, hey, put a spotlight on me. But that one did, and it's done well. And I just want to thank everybody that's supported me and supported the book and my craft, if you will. It's because obviously none of it would have done as well as it did if I didn't have the support of all these awesome people out there that have picked the book up and have booked me for shows and flown me across the country to speak or whatnot. So it's been a fun ride. It's been a lot of fun, and I've been able to meet a lot of people based off of that. And like I was able to meet you in person in Tennessee, which was fantastic. I know I met you at in Townsend, but wasn't there another event that you were at that I was at?
Yeah, we've run into each other about 2 or 3 times now at different events. I can't keep track of them all either, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I'd say in the last couple of years, like I haven't really done any. I haven't because I ended up taking another position with a company running a different division, and it was just the division is just it's just a 24/7. It just doesn't stop. It's HVAC. So I opened up a branch for a large company and got that location on the map. And recently changed companies to run another division, and this division is more schedule based, less emergency calls. So I'm pretty excited about that. for the simple fact that it's if I'm up on stage and I'm speaking, my phone's not ringing constantly, so I'll be able to start scheduling more events to be at, where before it's like they were getting scheduled and then I'd have to cancel them because I didn't know if I was going to end up having to like go into work or something crazy like that. So now I kind of have freedom. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So far in 2025, I've gotten a few offers, and right now I've only accepted one, and I'm looking at the other ones. So, hopefully things can work out, and I can get back out there and see people face to face, because that's, at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it's really all about, just meeting people and just having conversations and just having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's my favorite part of doing events and stuff. And I'm with you. I haven't been active at all. I've been focusing on my health and trying to get my life kind of back on track from where it's been derailed with everything. Trying to get things settled with Jennifer, and hopefully this year we can get together and get married and get our house and all that. That's kind of our plan. So hopefully that's the plan, and then I can start being active again in the community. My story is kind of like yours with being in the community, except for I haven't written any books yet. Um, I started in the cryptid stuff back when I was early teens, like 12, 13 years old. At 16, I started trying to contact the famous cryptozoologist of the time, and that didn't work very well. Nobody wanted to hear from some 16-year-old kid. But eventually, when Jennifer and I started dating, she really encouraged me to kind of get out there and start talking to people about my research and what I've done and our experiences and stuff. And it just kind of blew up from there. So I'm kind of with you. I've always been interested in the topic. I've always done research on my own, but I never wanted to get out there, because you're right. There is a ton of drama. I didn't even realize how much there was in all this. Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a book and just having fun with it, but it is, the best part of it is talking with the people, man. I agree with you. Whenever I speak at an event, to me, that's kind of like my ticket there. But what I want to do is just talk to the crowd and get new reports and new phenomenon happening, and just talk to everybody, man. That's my most favorite thing to do in this whole thing. So I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's funny. Some people may not put it in these terms, but this is kind of how I put it. For me, it's kind of therapeutic as well, because again, you're in a community of a lot of people that are excited about the same subject and want to talk about it. Where I memean, it's mainstream now. It really is mainstream, and anybody will talk with you about it. But the individuals that are in the community and study it and look at it, they really have some really, really cool questions, and just the stuff that they bring to the table is just really, really interesting in my opinion. I mean, I have a lot of people that send me photos, which I don't look at, because that's just not my thing. And I usually will tell them, hey, we'll send them over to this person over here. They're more kind of qualified to look at this, qualified, if you will.
Right.
I mean, they can distinguish way better than I can. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's just a lot of fun. It's a hobby, but it's a fun hobby. Again, it's something that it's a passion for me, and to be able to, I guess, be known for your passion is really rewarding.
Yeah, that's a good way to put that. I totally agree with that. I've never thought of it that way, but you're right.
You're absolutely right. And when I say that, I mean there's no arrogance, there's no pompous, there's no like, hey, look at me. It's just knowing that my passion that's really driven me has been a gift, I guess, in a sense, to other people, where they want to know more about it. And so yeah.
Nope, I agree. So this first book, without giving it too much away, give us the teaser on it. What is this about, and why do we need to go out and get it so we can learn from it? What's going on with American cryptids?
So this book covers all 50 states. And when I was writing the book, I was originally just writing like chapter 1, Dogman, chapter 2, Wendigo. And I'm like, man, that's just what everybody's always done. Everybody's always just done that. So I wanted to do something different. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to cover all 50 states, but I'm going to write it in such a way where I'm your tour guide. I'm taking you on an actual journey across the country to visit each state. So it opens up with each state, and it gives some historical data, like when it was founded, its statehood, different things like that about the state, different little aspects. If there's something cool that kind of came from that state, I mentioned that. And then it goes into highlighting a Native American tribe, because in my opinion, the majority of the research that I do is based off of the indigenous people, because what we know today came from them, from what they've documented, what they've passed down from generation to generation. And I really respect that. So I wanted to highlight a tribe from each state. And then from there, it goes into whatever like the popular monster is from that state. For instance, for Vermont, which I'm originally from Vermont, I talk about Champ, the Lake Champlain monster. So it's laid out like that. And then I close out each chapter with a Bigfoot sighting from each state. And so the Bigfoot sighting from each state, so the best way for me to explain how I was able to obtain that was, I didn't want to go online and just punch in Bigfoot sightings in the state, go to like a BFRO site and put something in my book. One, I didn't think that was creative. I didn't think it was original. And I also didn't want to take somebody's encounter and put it in my book. I'm just like, that's just not my thing. So what I did was I did use Google. I used Google Maps, and I pulled up each state, and I found an area that had a lot of forestry, a bunch of different areas that would look like, they say on Finding Bigfoot, squatchy. And what I did was I called every mom and pop, like little diner in the area or whatever, and whoever answered, I just said, hey, I'm in the process of writing a book. I heard there could be some possible Bigfoot sightings in your area. What can you tell me? And if they didn't have one, they knew somebody that they had overheard somebody or whatever, and they would put me in contact with them. So I was able to get one from every state. And some of them were not documented in anything else before my book. So, so that's how I was able to obtain a sighting from every state. And yeah, I got multiple. There were certain states where I had multiple people that I had talked to, but the ones that I put in the book was individuals that weren't necessarily looking. Like if somebody already had like a passion for it and they were out looking, that wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for your everyday individual who happened to come across something that they couldn't explain, but it looked like this. So those were the Bigfoot sightings that I put at the end of each chapter. So again, each chapter closes out with a Bigfoot sighting. And that's kind of the run of the book. So the thing that makes it kind of fun though too is if you're from a certain state, the first thing you're going to do when you pick it up, you're going to go to that state and see what I wrote about it, see the history, different things like that. So this book was definitely a lot of work because again, it covers all 50 states. So when you're putting in historical data, I mean, you don't just double check it, you triple check it, you check it 10 times, because again, you want to put out the best product you possibly can for the readers. And this book did really, really well. It hit a #1 bestseller 6 times on Amazon. So it's done very, very, very well. It ended up at one point. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't looked, but you could go on like Walmart.com, Target.com, and you could order it from them. So again, it did really, really well, and it's still to this day doing really well. It's numbers or rankings, I guess, on Amazon, I should say, are still good. They're still strong.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, definitely still going strong.
And this was released through Beyond the Fray Publishing.
And this was in 21, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it released in 21.
That's what was on Amazon, was it said in 21. So I'm going to encourage anybody listening live and anybody tuning in later. We have a lot of viewers, Kenny, all around the world that tune in. I'm going to encourage everybody to go pick up all three of these books that we're going to talk about tonight. Support Kenny and his work. He obviously did a ton of work into it for the readers, that you're going to have original content, stuff you've never read before. And to me, that's always a big thing. Being in the field as long as I have been, it's hard to find new content and new information. You know, you end up hearing some of the same stuff over and over and over again. And the same stuff is written about in books. And that's one of the reasons I like talking to people at the conferences. Same thing, right? You get new, fresh stories and encounters and stuff. So I'll encourage everybody to go out and check out these books. So this was the first one, and I know we're on a limited time here, so I'm going to kind of buzz through the second book, International Cryptids and Legends. That's the second one, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that book is written very much like American Cryptids, again, because that's just kind of my style. It worked on the first one, and again, I really try to be like a tour guide, like where I'm not trying to educate anybody. I'm trying to entertain people, again, as like a tour guide. So this book is very similar. I picked a bunch of different countries, and similar thing, like for instance, let's just say Russia. So first chapter in this book is Russia. So you'll get some historical facts about Russia, and then I didn't highlight any tribes really in this book. In this book, it went pretty much from the country and then right into different legends from that country. And the one thing that I can say is, when you leave the States and you go international and you start looking into legends out there, they're very, very different. And what I mean by that is they make really a lot of the legends that we talk about in the States seem very comical. You leave the country and you go to like Haiti, these other places. These legends to them aren't just legends. These are real. They're still happening today. And there's so many amazing things in these other countries' legends that a lot of people are unaware of. So originally when I wrote it, it was called International Cryptids. But as I researched different countries, there were all these weird legends that were just phenomenal and just were so cool, that wouldn't fall under the cryptids title, if you will. So it's got both. It's got there's a lot of legends that are based off of like spirits and evil beings. So that's why I went from International Cryptids to International Cryptids and Legends. And so it was a real fun book to write, just like American Cryptids. Josh Turner from Paranormal Roundtable actually wrote the foreword for this one. And in American Cryptids, actually, Katie Elizabeth wrote the foreword for that book for American Cryptids, and Ken Gerhard actually did the introduction for American Cryptids. I almost forgot to mention that and give those shout outs to those individuals. But yes, that's what International Cryptids and Legends is. Again, it's a fun book. I really don't go in any way to try to educate people. Again, I'm more about the entertainment side of it, because from a young age, I've always been entertained by legends, monsters, and that's kind of my approach with it. So again, I like to have just a lot of fun with with this type of material.
And I think understanding the international realm of cryptids is super important. Um, Simply because it kind of opens up your eyes to the idea that, let's use Bigfoot for example, because he's the best one to use. Um, he's everywhere. Most nations, countries have some kind of Bigfoot type creature. And when you factor that in, to me, it kind of brings out the fact that maybe there is something to this Bigfoot thing, or at
Sure.
least
Yeah.
something to the upright walking hominid thing, you know? It and here in the West, I hate to say it, but in America, we tend to close our eyes to the rest of the world, and we think that our little corner of the world is it. That's everything. Everything is like us.
Yeah.
And I can say that with some knowledge. I was born and raised in South America and lived my first 10 years down in the Amazon jungle. So I have seen the difference. And even the Indians that I grew up with, they have their own legend of a Bigfoot type creature in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I really love how you said in the first book, you bring out the indigenous tribes, their legends and their tales and their stories, because I think that's important. They've been here longer than we have, and they've interacted with these things because they lived with them alongside of them. You know,
Yep.
and that goes with any of this stuff. Whether you're talking Pukwudgies or Bigfoot or all these different things that are out there, they know about them in some way. You know, they
Yeah.
can recognize what's going on. And I think, and that's the same internationally. One of the biggest issues I have with skeptics is when they try telling the people that live in an area what they saw as misidentification. You know, one of my biggest things, I do a lot of research in Appalachia and like Kentucky and Tennessee, and it never fails. The skeptics always say, "You just saw a bear. That's it. You just saw a bear." And I go, do you not realize how many bears these people see on a regular basis? They know what a bear looks like. You know, they
Sure.
know what a bear looks like running across the road. They know what a bear looks like in the woods. Why? Because they see them all the time. You know, I was living in Gatlinburg and working in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and the bears walk down the street. They come to the trash cans. I mean, you see them regularly.
Right.
So to tell somebody that experiences something like a bear all on a regular basis, that they misidentified something as a bear, to me is insultive. Yes,
Right.
I'm sure it happens at times. I'm not going to say it never happens, right? Because it does. But when somebody comes up and says, I saw this Bigfoot take 3 steps and cross the road onto the other side and then down the side of the mountain, and somebody goes, oh, you just saw a bear, that's just ridiculous.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
feel the same way with the indigenous tribes. The people that live there know what's around them. They know the animals. They have to, because that's how they survive, is by knowing what's around them. You know, so
Yeah.
I love the fact that you talk about that and bring that stuff out. I think that's super important for people to realize. And now you just put out a new book, right?
I did.
We've
It just,
got American Monster Hunters.
yeah, the 13th of this month, it just released. This book took me almost 2 years to no, I think it took me 2 years to write it and release it. Part of it had to do with, again, switching jobs. So that was kind of getting in the way, but this book, I really wanted to do something along the same lines, write it in the same way, like I'm taking the reader on a journey. But this one is very different. This isn't about the monsters. This is about the individuals that I've looked up to for years, that have been out there chasing these monsters. And
Sure.
and I want to point out that the introduction for this book was written by Ronald Murphy. A lot of people know Ron. He's a good guy. And the artwork,
he's a good friend of mine and Jen's, and a good friend of the show. He's been on several times with us. Yeah.
Excellent. And the artwork for this book, usually the publisher creates with their artists the artwork. This time I kind of went rogue on my own, and the artwork on here is done by Sam Sheeran. If you have never looked up Sam, I mean, he's world renowned with his art. He's just unbelievable. He's amazing. He's done so far all of David Weatherly's covers. He's done the covers for like Ken Gerhard, and some other people. And I reached out to him, and I'm like, can you make the cover for this book? He's like, sure. You know, what's it about? And I told him kind of the layout of it, and he's like, well, what are your ideas? And I said, I can barely write a book, much less. I said, whatever you put together, I said, is going to be awesome. Because I mean, he's done artwork for like bands like Kiss, Slayer. I mean, it's just, the guy is amazing. And he ended up saying, okay, so I just put this art together, you know, let me send it over to you. Let me know what you think. And I mean, I knew I was going to be blown away, but I didn't expect to be this blown away. It is amazing. I mean, even certain things have reflections on them, like that would have reflection from the light. It is on there. It's just amazing artwork. But so that to accompany the amazing individuals that are actually in the book. So once again, as a tour guide, I'm taking the reader across the country to different states, because I had conversations with these individuals that I call American monster hunters. And I asked some questions that, you know, are a lot of basic questions, but there were also some questions that I asked individuals, hey, if you could actually ask this person a question, what would that question be? So there are things in this book that people probably would have absolutely no idea that these individuals either did this, think this way, and I mean, right down to what their favorite holiday is. I mean, and you know, it's ironic. You know, you would think, you know, with monsters that everybody would have said Halloween, but not everybody said Halloween. And again, there's these facts, these little fun facts that you find out about each individual that, I mean, these individuals I've been following for years, I had no idea. And without putting any names to any of this, like for instance, there's one gentleman who, when he was a little boy, got hit by a police car and was told by his doctors that he would never walk again. That man is up walking. Wow. Yeah, there's different things. Like there was another individual who I had no idea he was on his third marriage. You know, this is stuff that you wouldn't normally know. I mean, some of these people played in bands and they opened for large name bands. One of them, I think one of the bands that somebody opened for, or they were in one of the videos for, like Flock of Seagulls. I mean, there's all these things that you would not know about this individual. And there was 12 or 13. Of course, I'm a lightweight and I'm already getting tired. So there's like
all right.
There's like 12 or 13 individuals that I interviewed and had conversations with. And that's how the book's laid out. And you find out where they were born, what their upbringing was like, what did they do when they were kids. So instead of just the what are they doing now, you'll know what they were doing prior to when individuals today know who they are, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. Before they became somebody, before they became a name in the field. Yeah. I think that's great, man. That's one of my favorite things to do, is go to these conferences and just sit and talk to people, the speakers. I've made so many friends within the community that way. Like they have no clue who I am. I'm nobody, and I'm cool with that. But I love to go and just sit. Like Jennifer and I were up at CryptidCon and LBL, and we went and sat and talked to Cliff Barackman, Melissa Barackman. Jennifer interviewed him for an article she was working on, and we just kind of sat and talked. And at first he was very leery. because I'm just another nobody fan coming up to talk to him, and I get it. But then once we started having a conversation, he really loosened up, and we had a great time talking.
Yeah.
And same thing with a Dr. Mariah Moyer. Same thing with her. Once we started talking, I've met her a few times, and we just enjoyed talking. And we weren't talking Bigfoot; we were more talking anthropology stuff because she's a primatologist. She was, I forget the title, but she worked for National Geographic as one of their first female explorers that would go out and do the TV shows and stuff, and just a fascinating background and in science and everything. So I think that's awesome where you kind of bring these people to life and you make them real people. Like you humanize them, right? They're not such big stars or big names. You bring them out as people just like we are. And I think that is a fantastic idea. I love that. That's so awesome.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to put together too. And again, there are so many things that are just kind of I didn't expect. I didn't expect for them to actually say. And then when they said it, I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Little spoiler alert. Cliff is one of the individuals in the book. And there was some stuff. I mean, I've watched Cliff, followed Cliff, his work. I think he's brilliant when it comes to footprints.
Yep.
And there were things that I had no idea about. And he shared it, and it was just a fun conversation. And the one thing that I really want to make clear with this book is them. It's not me writing a book and putting stuff in it. These are their words. These are their phrases. Their if there's certain lingo that they use, that's what's in the book.
Okay.
And so it's not, okay, I did an interview and then I went and I put it in my own words. Now, I will say that once I got everything down on paper prior to editing, because I'm barely a writer, there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to edit anything. I did send it to each person multiple times to have them go through, confirm that the dates are accurate, that the spelling of somebody's name that maybe they grew up with was accurate. So it wasn't one of those situations where, like, I've had people interview me before, and then when it comes out in the article or the magazine or whatever, I read it back. I'm like, that doesn't translate to what I actually was trying to say. So I sent it to them, and everybody read through it, and they sent it back with corrections and how they wanted it to sound, which I thought was really important, because again, this isn't me writing this book. This is me just putting all this information together in one place from all these amazing individuals that have been doing this for so long, and I wanted it to be the best representation of each one of them. And I think it's a winner in my opinion, just based off of a lot of the feedback that I've gotten so far, and again, just them signing off on the chapter, which was really important to me.
Well, I can tell you, as a bibliophile myself, one of the things I hate, and Jennifer can attest to this, is when I get a book and I start reading it, and you can tell it's poorly researched. You can tell it wasn't edited properly. It wasn't spell checked properly. And there's just errors in it. And as a reader, you can tell. And it's just like, wow, you actually had the audacity to publish this book and sell it, as awful as it is. Like, I got one I was real excited about, and it ended up simply being basically transcripts of people's encounters off of podcasts.
Yeah.
But it was very popular podcasts. And so I recognized the wording, I recognized the story, and some of them I could even tell you what podcast it was that they came off of. Yeah. And so there was no work done into it, and it was just something thrown together. So all the work that you put into these books and the care you put into it, man, I got to say that's awesome. That's fantastic. And I'm going to, again, recommend to everybody listening to go get Kenny's books. And I'm not just saying that because it's Kenny. I'm saying that because listen to the work that he put into them. You're going to have quality books on the subjects. And I highly recommend that. Now, looking at this image, I got to say that has to be Lyle Blackburn in an older hat, right? I mean, that has to be who that was supposed to be.
I
At first I'm going, maybe Ken Gerhart. But then I noticed the jacket and I'm going, that's definitely more Lyle style right there.
I don't actually know, to be honest with you. All I know is that there are a lot of people both on the cryptid side and ghost hunter side that wear hats like that I've come across. I don't know. I don't actually know. All I know is I just told Sam, I said, whatever you come back with is whatever I'm going with, because I know it's going to be phenomenal. And I mean, when you pull that image up, like on like an actual like computer screen or whatever, you can see the detail in it. It is just,
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier with the product and the way that it came out. Like I said, if individuals are not familiar with Sam, please look him up, and your mind will be blown. It's like he's so good, it's unnatural.
Right. There you go. A Little Twisted said she just ordered that one. So there you go. A Little Twisted is on it.
Awesome. Thank you. We really
Absolutely.
appreciate the support.
She's a mainstay on the show and she loves her books. I remember when, what was it, the Nephilim podcast, and I recommended a book that had Book of Enoch, Book of Jasher, Book of Giants all in it in one. I went out and bought it. She goes, I bought all the books you recommended. She loves learning. That's awesome. Thanks, Twisted. Anything else, Kenny? I know you want to get out of here. You didn't want to stay on too long. We've already gone over what we wanted to, but great conversation, man. I'm so glad we could finally make it work. Anything else you want to tell the people about what you got coming on? Any more books coming out? Anything you want to promote? Feel free, man. Let it go.
Yeah, I mean, the again, American Monster Hunters just came out. A lot of awesome individuals in that book, and again, a lot of stuff that you probably wouldn't know if you just heard them on a regular podcast. So it's really interesting, really interesting publication, and I'm really proud of it. But I'm really proud of it in a humble way. Not in an arrogant way, because again, it's just these awesome individuals, and I don't know, I may do at some point in time American Monster Hunters 2. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I will say, for the time being right now, I'm actually done writing books about legends and lore. I am going to be taking a break from it, and I am actually starting to work on another book. This is very different. It is not even on the subject, but I met some people based off of a situation that happened in Saratoga, New York, that ended up going international. And the individuals that were involved in it reached out to me and asked me if I'd write the story on it. So
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I was a supporter for what happened in it, and there'll be more information on that as the months go by, but I'm hoping by this summer or so that book will be out. And I'm really looking forward to it. And other than that, I'm just working on booking different events through 2025. Right now, like I said earlier, I've only confirmed one, and it's the Pennsylvania Bigfoot campout that Eric H. Altman puts on every year. So I followed Eric. Eric's a phenomenal guy. I was actually at an event in Pennsylvania back in October, the Alpawitch Festival, and that's the first time I met Eric face to face. And he's just a phenomenal guy. If anybody is unaware of Eric, definitely look him up, follow him. He puts out some great material, and he puts on a phenomenal event every single year. And I've been trying to get to the event just to get to it every year, and I haven't been able to pull it off. And now I've been invited to actually speak at it, so I'm really looking forward to that. I know Stan Gordon's going to be there, Steve Cole,
Nice.
a few of the guys from Mountain Monsters. Those guys will be there. Lyle Blackburn's going to be there. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to be there. Ron Murphy's going to be there.
I'll say he usually ends up at that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So and a bunch of other people. Mike Ann is going to be there. He's from like out Western New York area. Trying to think. I'm brain's totally fried. I know it's not even 8 o'clock at night, and I'm already tired.
It's all right.
But it's so far that's the event that I booked this year, and I've got other ones that I'm going back and forth with on the promoters for the events and coming up with agreements. So hopefully I'll be able to start posting those and go from there. And I hope to, and again, get out there and see the individuals that have been so gracious and humble and supporting me. And I really can't thank people enough.
All right. And where can people get a hold of you? Where can they follow you? What's your Facebook for the people that want to keep an eye on you and your schedule?
Yeah, it's Facebook is obviously probably the easiest. They can just look me up, Kenny W. Irish, the Cryptopunkologist. I mean, if a bunch of Kenny W. Irishes come up, trust me, you'll know my picture. I definitely stick out. I am on Instagram under Kenny Irish Author. I am on Twitter or X. I don't do a lot on there. You can also contact me through my website, which is www.kwirish.com. And, if you want to book me for a show, for an event, I recently started doing voiceover work for commercials and different things that, for intros, for podcasts and other narrative voice. I did do some training for it. And there's this phenomenal studio that's in Albany, New York that I record at. So if individuals are looking for some type of introduction or they're making safety videos, I can do those as well. So
nice. You should hook up with Seth Breedlove over at Small Town and see if you can do some narrations for some of his videos coming. I know Lyle's done some, and those are always pretty awesome. I bet you do really good with that as well.
I think Lyle does all of them. I'm pretty sure.
I know he's done several of them.
Lyle's his narrator, which I mean, I can't even compete with that Texan voice that he has. I mean, it makes it. I like the Small Town Monster videos that they put out, but I got to be honest, Lyle's voice. It's one of those things that just works. It just works.
It just makes it, yeah.
It makes it.
Kind of like having James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman doing them. It just sounds right, like the right guy to do it.
Sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I do have another website, kenny.irishicanvoice.com. And you can go on there and you can hear like my demo for like commercials, different things like that. So, you can check that out, and if it's a need, reach out.
There you go. So again, encourage everybody to support Kenny, man. He's a great guy in the community. Just do you can to support him. We can all help a little bit, and that's the best thing to do. I have to apologize. When I wrote up the basic intro and gave it to Grizz, I spelt your first name wrong. I didn't realize it until it was too late. So I apologize for that, Kenny. That was my bad all the way.
it's common. It's common, and it's that extra E. A lot of people just, my dad's name is Kenny, and I believe it's Kenny, and I believe I've got that extra E, the Ken and EY. I think it was my mom that was like, nah, I wanted a little different. So, and to be honest with you, just in my opinion, and not because it's how my name is spelled, I think it looks better. I think it looks complete. That's just me.
When I was pulling up information on you, it said that it's funny that Kenny name is actually an Irish name. Like it has a Irish coat of arms and the whole Irish background and history. I was like, wait a minute, you got to be messing with me here. Like I know it's Kenny Irish, but seriously. But sure enough, that name Kenny has an Irish background. So I thought that was just a very cool synchronotic thing that happened there.
Well, here's a little fun fact for you too. If you ever write a book like American Monster Hunters and you want to put something in about me, there's 0 ounce of Irish blood in me. I'm not Irish at all. I one day I actually asked my dad, I said, how do we get our last name? He goes, I don't know. So there is not an ounce of Irish blood in me. However, I did marry an Irish woman. So.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right, man. Well, again, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate your friendship. I really appreciate being able to work on the schedule with you to finally get you here, man. I've been wanting you on for a long time. Take it easy, man. Take care of yourself. I know you want to go and do your thing and get to bed. So we will talk to you later, brother. You have a good one, man.
You as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate, again, you having me on, and everybody that tuned in during the live, and anybody that's going to tune in later on down the road. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. And for me, it's like I said earlier, it's a passion, and you guys are a huge part of that as well. So thank you again.
All right. Thanks, bud. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Kenny Irish, what a great guy. It's funny because he was like, man, I got maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes. I'm going to be done. And here it is, almost an hour. Always happens, doesn't it? We get people on here and we start talking, and next thing you know, it's an hour and a half later. But Kenny really is a great guy, above and beyond what he does. Just as a person, he's fantastic. Somebody made a comment that I wanted to address. Let me put up here. Unknown Cryptid. I don't know if you're still there, Unknown Cryptid. But you said the meaning of a skeptical person is that they have never had an experience, and that's why they question it. And I'd have to say, no, I don't necessarily think that's 100% true. I know what you're trying to say, and you're not wrong in what you're trying to say. I'm a skeptical person. I don't, it's not that I don't believe, it's just that I always ask the questions because misidentification and just downright fraud is so rampant these days that you have to be skeptical. Have an open mind, but you got to be skeptical. You got to ask the questions. You can't just take everything at face value. If that's one thing I have learned in this, and it's hard. You have to learn. You have to study a lot of different fields and have an understanding of people, psychology, and you have to have a solid enough knowledge base to be able to know what is normal, what isn't normal, or if somebody's just parroting the words that they heard back to you, right? So you got to be careful. I always say have an open mind, but not so open your brain falls out. I've heard a lot of crazy Bigfoot stories that I'm not going to say are 100% false, but in my mind, they're just unbelievable. So they're not true. I heard one guy on a podcast talking about how he spent years with the Yeti shaman over in the Himalayas and then came back to the States and practiced the Yeti magic and became friends with the Bigfoot in his area. And he was being 100% sincere on this podcast. And I'm just going, I don't know about all that, man. Like, I appreciate the story. It's fantastic, but yeah, I don't know about that. So again, keep an open mind, but not so open your brain falls out. Be skeptical of everything, but also be open and honest. So there's my soapbox for the tonight. Any questions out there in the audience tonight? Anything going on? Any topics? I got a topic for next week, I think. I'm not going to say it in case I change it because that's always annoying when I tell you something and then, oh, just kidding. I think it's going to be a great topic. I'm going to do some research on it this week as I'm feeling good. Any other questions, comments out there, guys, before we wrap it up? I want to thank everybody for joining, all my friends out there. Nymeria. That's my buddies Melissa and Kevin Panay, fantastic people. Have we had Kevin on this show? I remember we had him on PRT. Now, Maria, we got to get Kevin on the show. Melissa, we got to get Kevin on the show. I want to talk to him. Absolutely. Hey, Kev. Kevin's a Hawaiian native and born, and he's got some great stuff about Hawaii's legends and lore and stuff like that. So I got to get Kevin on here. Yeah, right there. See, he wants to know if you want him. Yep, absolutely. We'll work it out. I'll get hold of you guys. All right. No other questions or anything, guys. Barbara Moore, I like how you know the word bibliophile. Yes, I am a nerd, Barbara. I try not to use too many big words because for most of my life, I got yelled at for using them by my ex-wife. My fiance, Jennifer, if she's still listening, encourages me to use my big words because she can understand them. Jennifer is brilliant, even though she won't admit it. Melissa, he says thumbs up. Good. I'll get a hold of you guys, Kevin. Melissa, absolutely. Bibliophile is one of my favorite words. I like to use it. It's a fun one. I also like, I'm not a bookworm. I'm a book dragon. I don't read them. I hoard them. I got a storage unit. I probably got about 12 or 13 just boxes full of books. I just collect them. Love my books. All right. Well, we are going to... There you go. Jennifer is wonderfully brilliant and beautiful too. Yes, she is. Absolutely. All right, guys. We're going to close out. As Grizzly would say... I can't remember anymore. What is it? Coast to coast and around the world? Something like that. Y'all have a fantastic night. We're going to do my favorite outro because why not? I just got to find out. Grizzly has been added all kinds of stuff on here, so I got to be able to find it all. There it is. All right, guys. We will talk to y'all next week. Have a good one.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!